What's up? Michelle Therese here, and this is a video about the live stream interview that I did with an author and dear friend, Rachel. You can find her books and links to the blog posts in the description, and I just hope you enjoy the discussion that I had. It was kind of funny. It took us nearly all day just to get on the platform because it kept having technical difficulties, but I'm glad that it went ahead. Because it was really fun, and yeah. If you are an author or someone that writes about mental health or race, LGBT issues, social injustice, stuff like that, say hey, put in the comments, and also press that subscribe button.
Mm.
Now I gotta flip this around. Okay.
Five
I
years
said,
later.
I said, turn this around. Here's the tech dinosaur. She's here. I've arrived. Okay, how are you, Michelle?
I'm annoyed. I'm
How are you
slightly
doing?
proud, but we're here when we've done it.
Yes. Okay. What are we going to be talking about before my teenagers come home? And then we usually spend some time talking about their day, and then I start making some dinner
Yeah,
for
that's
them.
fine. Well, you are a writer, and I like to connect with other writers. So,
Yes, I think that's great that you do that.
So do you just want to, start by saying how long have you been writing for, and why do you write?
Oh my. I have been writing, oh my goodness, since I was a little kid, 5 years old, 6 years old. I can remember writing notes and letters to my family in crayon. In
Oh,
fact, yes, I was talking to one of my older sisters. I come from a large family. There were 11 children,
mhm.
and I was one of the youngest. So having these older siblings, I was at home with my mom during the day before I started school, and they were all in, high school, or a couple of them were actually working. Two siblings were already married when I was that age. So I'd write these letters and notes in crayon, and I was really missing them because I was at home with mom, had not started school yet at 5. At that time, kindergarten wasn't mandatory. So a
Okay.
5-year-old may be home with their parent. And my sister was recalling recently how I would write letters to her best friend and told my sister, I need you to give these to your best friend. It's very
Oh,
important. I don't know what I was writing in it. I asked her, did you ever look at them? She said, no, I respected your privacy because you would have it in a little envelope and everything. She said it was so cute, but we talked about that. So that's how long my writing has been going on. Since then, it just was in me. It was just a part of me. And then when I was in elementary school, I enjoyed writing, and a lot of the teachers would try to speak to my parents about what they felt was, a gift that needed to be nurtured, and encouraged me to use my writing talents. So many years, because I'm 45. I'm turning 46 next month, so a long time.
yeah. I mean, I've read a bit of your poetry because I downloaded the Words of Love and Lust.
Oh,
And I'm reading through that. I can relate to a lot of it. Um, I
wonderful.
like I like the I wouldn't say depressing style, but I can't describe it. It's just raw
Well,
and very honest. It's quite
yes, I
honest.
am definitely, even though a hopeless romantic. I am melancholic, so I do I do realize a lot of the poetry can go to a darker place, but a lot of it is from my own experiences, and that's why I think a lot of people who are looking for someone who can relate to some of their mental health struggles and challenges
Yeah,
will
that,
find something that resonates.
yeah,
Yes, when you read it. Hmm.
that's why I relate. Yeah, that's how I can relate to it. Because it's
Yes,
that feeling of heartbreak and not being good enough, and the rejection and the longing. Yeah.
exactly. The unbearable loneliness
Mhm.
sometimes that no one really knows that you feel and go through. That comes out in my writing as well. Always feeling like I was an outsider looking in. So I draw from that place and those feelings when I write. And some of that I've addressed in my memoir, which I encourage you. I thought you may enjoy taking a look at that as well, because
I
I
would.
go through the process of how I ended up getting to the place where I said, I'm going to start sharing this writing with the world, because I kept it to myself many, many years. I kept it to myself, and I didn't want to share it.
I'm glad you did because you do have a talent.
Thank you. Well,
Maybe you should.
thank you.
Maybe you should start rapping as well. Yo yo yo.
Maybe. No, I doubt it. I think you want me to. I have an appreciation for hip hop, though, especially old school hip hop. But I don't think you want to hear me rap. But there are some very talented lyricists, and I always say, for those, I understand some people don't have an interest in certain types of music, and I can't force that on them. But if they think for 1 second that there are not any talented lyricists in hip hop, then they've never really given it a fair chance and investigated it. There are some excellent writers.
I mean,
Excellent.
I'm trying to convert my dad at the moment because he says, "Oh, rap is just baby rhyming." I said, "No, no, you need to properly
Mm-mm.
look at some of these lyrics."
Yes, yes, yes. Give it a proper look, give it a proper chance. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, so how does I am reading from a list, as you know.
Okay, no problem.
um, so how does what you write, like, do you read similar things, or is it all different?
Yes, I do read. When I'm reading through my work, and which I assume that's what you're talking about after I've written some things and I go back and look at my work, or are you talking about
No.
what I enjoy
Yeah,
reading?
like yeah, like, do you enjoy reading things that are similar to yours, or like different things, or anything?
The interesting thing is one of my favorite genres is something I don't really write at all, and that's I'm a nonfiction junkie. I love reading philosophy. Well, I love reading about world religion and things about
Yeah,
travel and culture. I love nonfiction so much. But
yeah.
I do read some mystery and even some horror fiction, especially Gothic. I love Gothic fiction, and I have quite a few poets that I love, and I have different collections here at home. So I've always had a love for poetry. But I tend to read more outside of what I actually write. I don't know. It's just one of those things where what I love to write and felt I could write with ease wasn't necessarily what I was always reading.
hmm I
You see.
mean, I'm with you on the philosophy. I mean, I've got Spinoza's Ethics upstairs and a big question mark on
Mm-hmm.
that. I like a lot of horror actually myself. I like, horror, like killing mysteries and stuff like that. Like who did it? Mysteries.
Ah, yes. As we used to always call them the whodunit
Yeah.
mysteries. Mm-hmm.
I
Definitely.
mean, as you know, I'm big on mental health myself after everything I've been through.
Yes.
So, I mean, do you think that you'll write like a book about like mental health campaigning and like go into it more? Do you think? I mean,
I do.
why?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Why is writing about it so dear to you? I mean, to me, I'll say it's like my medicine. It's like it helps me get it out. Like, this is my story and I own it, and you know.
For me, well, first I'll say this. In my first memoir,
Mhm.
I did go through some of the details of, my diagnosis when I was a teenager. First of all, my struggles and misdiagnosis,
Mhm.
because I was misdiagnosed as having depression alone. Um, Come to find out, it was actually bipolar 2 disorder. There's bipolar 1 and there's bipolar 2, which many people I have found don't realize that. They can look that up and the differences.
Yeah, they
It's
are.
actually quite,
They're very different, actually. Yeah. Mhm.
yes. Uh, Although I've always been able to share my experiences in a certain commonality, even with those who have the other type of bipolar disorder. It's very common, actually, for people, especially with bipolar 2, to be misdiagnosed as having depression alone, because usually professionals will see us, or even our families recognize something is wrong uh, during some of those severe depressive episodes. Because when we're more up, uh, we actually can be quite productive and creative and even entertaining. I was always a lot funnier. My family was like, "Oh, she's got so many jokes," and yeah, so they didn't really see a problem, and I didn't see a problem with it either. No one was really connecting the dots with, "Wow, how is she able to get all of her homework done, uh,
It's like
right, get her chores done, and need no sleep?"
it's like the
But
media. You get a lot of energy in that. Yeah, yeah.
yes, yes. So it was looked at as more of a positive thing, and we didn't think of it as a problem. So when I would seek out help, it was always in the deep depression.
Mhm.
So if a professional is seeing you then, they may mistakenly believe you only have the depression. But then my diagnosis, the proper diagnosis, came about the age of 20.
Okay.
Um, so my mental health is addressed a little bit in the first memoir, which, by the way, is called The Truth About Change and Awakening. Uh,
And
I, I
and for
titled
the
that The Truth. Yes.
and for the people that are watching the video, I'm going to be putting the links in the description to, you know,
Oh,
Rachael's book.
wonderful. With that first one, I wanted to relate to people where it almost seemed like I woke up. It wasn't that writing was new for me,
Mhm.
so people may not have heard uh, me share anything, but it wasn't new. I had gone through many different changes. I'd
Mhm.
gone through a lot of loss, um, loss that was seen and unseen. And that caused me to say, okay, it's time for a change and an awakening. The poet that always was there, the writer who was always there, is now coming out and saying, here's my truth, here's what I've been through, and here's what I want to share with all of you. I want to share my words.
Good.
So as I'm writing, or as I wrote the memoir, I do relate in the book some of my, mental health struggles, and even how they continued after um, my marriage and after having children, going in and out of the hospital a few times. There's been a lot of things that I've gone through, and I'm also a several-time suicide attempt survivor. So all of that, I wanted to start opening up that part of my life and experiences. But I do plan to write another memoir where I just strictly speak about mental health, the family's history. We've lost a couple of family members to suicide, unfortunately.
Okay.
And I do want to make sure that I can share that with people who I think would really find some comfort in it and know that, okay, this is a person who really understands it. She's not just talking about it
Mhm.
just to talk about it, or jumping on some kind of bandwagon now. Sometimes you can feel like
Yeah.
some people do. And so that's where I'm at with the idea for writing more about mental health in the
Okay,
future.
that's good. I mean, what would you say your writing process is? I mean, I mean, for me, for
Mm.
instance, I do the writing in the, I can't think of the name of it. It's like morning pages, I think they call it, where you get up and you just do the stream of consciousness writing. Like I do
Okay.
journals, and then it's just, I don't edit it sometimes. I just write it, and then
And just write and write.
yeah. I don't
I
plan sometimes. I don't plan necessarily. Right, I must write at 4 o'clock, or I must write at 2, or whatever. I just go with it, and sometimes it's nonsense, but at least it's on paper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you just let it flow. Well, I've always loved journals. I have lots of journals and notebooks and sometimes scraps of paper, Michelle, to be honest, that I think of an idea and it could be the middle of the night and I think, oh, I don't want to lose this. So I have some paper, I'll jot something down and try to go back to sleep. But I try to. I always want to journal because I have a lot of things that I need to get out. And I also want to go back and look through the journal and see how's my mental health seem to be. How's my physical health? Because I have a lot of physical health issues that I like to journal about any symptoms or how I'm feeling or goals I have for my health. So I do a lot of writing every day. But as far as something that's going to become a part of my poetry collection or the next memoir, or right now I'm in the middle of writing some paranormal fiction that I plan on making a series. That process is very different for me because now I'm going in to the journals and the notebooks and I'm collecting these ideas that I've had over the weeks and the months. And sometimes I look at something and say, oh, I forgot I even wrote that. Oh, what was I feeling the day that yeah, I'm like, this is good. Or oh, this is horrible. What was this? But I won't throw it away. I used to throw things away. I used to say, this is trash. But I don't do that anymore. The older that I get, I appreciate what I have written down. And I
It's like
had,
progress, and it's uplifting to look back and think,
yes,
oh, I'm getting better, or it's probably uplifting, yeah.
yes. And my mother, before my mother passed away, I lost both of my parents and I miss them dearly. But before my mother passed away, she told me she deeply regretted not saving any of her writing. She went through, well, we believe from the conversations she and I had that she was probably a person who lived with undiagnosed bipolar disorder herself. She went through phases where she would become very sad and look at things that she wrote and thought, oh, this is garbage. Like, why did I even think this was any good? And she would throw it away, and she regretted that
What was your
deeply.
mum's name?
She would write
Can I
short stories and poetry, and it's just a shame that she didn't keep it. So her name was Ardessa, my mother. May she rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
And there were a lot of writers and a lot of creatives in her family, artists and writers. It was an interesting
Creativity runs in the genes.
Seems to, as well as the mental health issues, unfortunately. But I don't know. I mean, there have been a lot of different, studies and conversations about whether there's some type of link there. That's another conversation for another day, right? But that was definitely my mother's family. One of my aunts, she still writes a lot to this day, and she's in her 80s. But she does it more for her own enjoyment. She doesn't try to publish anything.
I mean, if you like it, why stop it? Exactly.
Exactly. You love it. It's something that you do. You can't imagine yourself not writing. That's how I feel. I mean, even if no one was interested in reading it, I would keep writing, and I feel very strongly about this, that it's something I have to leave for my children too. It's going to be a part of the legacy that I leave behind. It helps them know their mother, and it helps them just have something that always survives some part of me, I
Good.
think.
That's nice.
Thank you.
I'll say this, what does, like, you know, literary success, like, does it cross your mind? Like, oh, you know, I want to be a best-selling author, like, millionaire famous.
No. I mean, I everyone wants money. I can't imagine that you wouldn't want some money. You have to survive, you know. But as far as what literary success looks like for me, I've often thought to myself, I don't even want to be famous. I don't want people knowing me. I like my privacy. I don't think I want people to discover me too much and then know who I am and feel like they want to ask me questions and things like that. But I'm thinking about my children, really thinking about that, and what does literary success look like to me? I think I would feel good to know that whatever I've done, I have somehow helped some other people. Even though it's just a couple of individuals who said, you know, one time I read something that you wrote and I felt like doing this, that, or the other, or it made me feel better about myself, because I realized I wasn't the only one. Then I feel that's a measure of success for me. Well,
It
you know,
is.
how have I touched someone's life? That's so important to me. And then my children, they always feel proud. They see me writing and they read what I have and they say, "Oh, Mom, you don't give up on that, do you?" And I say, "No, it's a part of me. I can't give up." But I hear that and I think, "Oh yeah, they're watching very closely how I treat this, and this could be an influence on them to not give up on something and to stay very consistent with their efforts."
It's difficult to be a writer because so many people say that they're going to write a book and then they write 2 or 3 chapters and it's just too difficult. But it is a hard profession, very hard. Biased
Yes,
here, but yeah.
I agree. I think it's you know, sometimes I've had friends or family members who said, "Oh, I would love to be a writer. That must be great." You know, just sit. They're thinking, "Oh, you just sit around all day and you know write whatever and
No,
then try to yeah right yeah right."
it does not look
and
like that.
and then you're just going to go and query, you know, for an agent and get something published without any rejection letters. Oh no, it's not, you know, all of that, but it has been a dream. It has been a dream in other ways because I love it. So to do something that I love and can put my all into it, yeah, I'm thankful that I can do that.
Good.
Of course, I appreciate my husband's support because without his support, then I would not have the opportunity to really put so much into my writing. You know, to take care of my children, that comes first. Always enjoyed being a mother, and then I can put time into my writing. Yeah.
I mean, how many projects have you got on the go now? I mean, how many
Oh
finished?
my.
Yeah, like how many ideas have you got lined up? Like how many books?
Oh, you don't want to know how many ideas I have, Michelle. It gets really bad sometimes. I think, oh, okay, slow down. You can't even get all that done. But right now I have 2 things that are half finished that I've been working on.
That's the paranormal book, isn't it? Yeah.
Paranormal fiction, because that's going to be the first book of a series. So I'm in the middle of that, and I'm very happy with how that's coming along. I've had a few people who have done some reading of it for me as well. And then my next memoir, I'm halfway into that. And then I have 2 other things that I outlined and just started. So 4 things going on. And I say, okay, just stop there, girl, because you're just going to end up having all these different things going and not finish one. I don't want to do that.
Yes.
That's what I don't want.
That is a problem, you know, because you get to the editing stage and it's like, right, edit. Right, I've got a new idea. Bang, never come back to it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So that's what's going on right now.
Nice. Again, for the people that are watching this, I'll put the links in the description so you can go and check these things out, as well as the blogs, because there's a lot of articles about, LGBT issues, old people, race, inequality, and all that,
Lots of social issues, yes, because those are close to my heart as well. There are a lot of things that just in my household are issues that come up and affect us. So that intersectionality is something that I and my family live with, as we have in our household. It's a neurodiverse household, and we have an immigrant, and then me being a Black woman who's multicultural, the mental health issues. I'm a former Jehovah's Witness, so I came out of a cult and I have all of that going on. There's a lot. I'm a cancer survivor. I'm also an autoimmune disease warrior or thriver, however you want to think of it, because it goes on and on. You have to keep living with it. So there are a lot of things that end up affecting one household, one family. And I know we're not the only ones, because when I speak to other people, they have multiple issues and things that affect them. And then I'm also a pansexual woman, so I'm not a straight woman. So everything that's going on in my life, when I write my articles, these different topics, there's something that's close to my heart.
Yeah, you've got everything going on there.
A little bit of everything. It's just thrown into the pot here. I didn't ask for it. It happens. That's what happens, right? Yeah, so there are a lot of issues with human rights that are vital to discuss and to fight for. And I think a lot of poets, though, when we look back, a lot of poets were also social activists at the same time, and couldn't help it. Yeah.
I'll say this is quite funny as well. When I say, because I dress in tracksuits, and I just dress very casual, and this is quite interesting, because when somebody asks me what I do, I say, oh, I'm a writer, and they said, oh, you don't look like a writer.
What does a writer look like?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what does a writer look like? It does my head in when people say that. They expect us what? They expect us just to wear like old-fashioned hats and walk about in Victorian clothing with the.
Although I would love that. Now, I do have some costumes. That's another show. I do have costumes. I love it. But yeah, I understand what you mean. People have these different ideas of what a writer is going to look like, sound like, what their life is like. And I'm thinking, we're people. Exactly. So you're going to find a variety. We are just people.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about your interests, like apart from writing, like what else do you like to do,
Oh, well, I love to read. Reading that's big. That's big in our house. It was always a big part of my life. My mother was an avid reader, and my father, he read quite a bit as well. But I love the beach. I love outdoor activities. You take me to any place where there's water, and I'm so happy. I love music. I love movies. So I spend quite a bit of time, not as much time as I do with reading, but movies and music, it's pretty high up there on the priority list. I also enjoy having like some arts and crafts, little projects going. I find it relaxing. I think it's really good for my mental health, and it's good to have a distraction. Have my little plants that I take care of around the house.
Oh. What do you mean?
Sometimes I paint the pots.
What do you mean by the arts and crafts? Like painting?
Oh, I like to paint things and Sometimes I will sit with one of my friends or my sister and we'll make some jewelry. Anything that we can just sit and work with our hands and talk together. And I enjoy that. I was telling someone the other day, I said, let me tell you something. I think we forget about how good it feels to sit with coloring books. Remember how we could spend so much time coloring when we were little? And why don't we do that as adults? You know, we typically don't. So I've been picking up more coloring books and just sitting. I have colored pencils and sitting there and coloring, things like that. You know, I love doing things like that. And then when it's warmer, I like to plant flowers and get into my gardening a little bit.
Maybe you
those
should
are some of my interests.
open like a jewelry shop. Excuse me, like open like an art shop.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason.
That's an idea.
There's no reason why I can't, like on Etsy or something like that, like make jewelry and and say like what you know, what's your name or you know whatever, and then make it and then send it for
Sounds good. Okay, Michelle, you're going to have me involved in extra projects, and then you're going to say, so what else are you doing, Rachel?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be on the you know, a music video as well. You're going to be a singer and a dancer.
Oh no.
You are.
I don't think so. You saw how resistant I was to even doing some type of video and doing this at first. I said, oh, people are going to see me. Oh my goodness. But, you know, I got over it after we talked quite a bit and laughed, and, you know, you got the tech dinosaur to show up.
A week later, yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't too bad. Only took a week to convince me.
No, but forgive me if I'm wrong, but are you on Medium? Yeah. Medium.com.
No.
You're not on Medium yet?
No, I'm not.
Why is that?
You must. Oh, no, you're going to question me. I was going to say you're probably thinking of someone else. So we'll just move on from that.
No, I'm asking why you're not on Medium. Because you get paid for it.
I just am not. I don't know. To be honest, it took me a long time to decide to do anything online. I was a person who enjoyed writing in my journals, writing my poetry in notebooks, using a typewriter, not even using the computer, okay? I was like that. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
No.
And I love my books and the feel of turning the page. I would use the Kindle app now. I finally broke down and started doing that. I said, okay, let me get this Kindle app so I can sometimes have, you know, ebooks. But this is just a person that I am. I'm a mixture of, I like some things that are old-fashioned. I'm traditional in some ways, but I'm also very unconventional in other ways. And people are surprised when they get to know me. So there's this kind of strange mixture of some things, you know, that I like and don't like.
No, that's
I also.
It wasn't.
Yeah,
I was just saying because I use that site and I don't get much, but I upload certain things and I get quite a bit of money for articles. Yeah, just a suggestion. But...
Well, I'll keep that in mind, because who doesn't like a little more change in their pocket?
Especially
that can be helpful.
Certain issues are really big on there, you know, and you get money per view. So yeah, just a suggestion.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. I jotted that down because I'll forget. But yeah, that's how I am, a little bit old-fashioned about some things, but I'm trying to be more open-minded and bring myself up to speed with where everybody else is. Like I don't even like being involved in social media, but I know how important it is for people to be able to find out about you or connect with you. So I've made some lovely connections with people, but I at first thought, oh no, you mean I have to tweet something or put some video or something? You know, I was so resistant to it, and my kids, they were so sweet, but they were also funny, and they said, Mom, I don't know, because we know how you are, and the nickname of Tech Dinosaur, I mean, I don't mind it at all. We laugh about it. It's true. That's me. That's how I am. Even though I'm the person who my boys are gamers, and they always say they told their friends, they said our mom actually was the gamer mom. She got us into gaming. You wouldn't think so since she's such a tech dinosaur. She didn't even want a smartphone for so
That
long.
is,
She
yeah.
was carrying around this old flip phone. But I'm the one that got them into that because my husband has zero interest in gaming, in any games. But he's very interested in technology, and he teaches himself a lot of things, which has been helpful for work, but even just as a hobby. You know, he'll sit down and teach himself to code. This is the person that he is. So
Wow.
can you imagine me, Michelle? You know, I go and ask him, how do I do this? And he says, why do you not know how to do this yet? Like, I don't understand why. Because I'm resistant to it. That's why. I just know that. Yeah, I was born maybe some other life, and I'm still thinking like that in a different time or something.
Xbox or
That's me.
do they Xbox or PlayStation though? What do they use?
Both.
I'm Xbox all the way.
Yeah, they enjoy both. They use both. So, yeah, a sophomore and a senior.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's a different phase of parenting, but it's quite enjoyable because you really see their personalities, and they're young adults. They truly are young adults. So the way that we've been able to have our relationship grow and develop, and even the discussions that we can have about like mental health, for example, you know, it's different now that they're older and they can share their own feelings with things, and I can share more with them. Because before I shared what was age appropriate, of course. You know, they knew things about their mother, but not that much. You know, some things you're not going to share with your 8-year-old that now that they're 16, you're going to share more with them.
No.
So it's an enjoyable stage now, relationship. Just wanted to throw that in there because they'll probably watch this and say, what did our mom say about us?
Oh. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of running out of things to say now, like questions. But if you wanna ask me anything, please go ahead.
It's fine. Well, we did talk a lot before getting to this point, didn't we? We started out trying to get this together, and a couple of different things we tried just didn't work out. We had some technical difficulties on some other sites, but this is really good. And I think if I was going to add anything for people who are thinking about their writing, and wondering, you know, how do they really get themselves started with their writing career, I say just do what you love, do your best at it. Don't rush. Take your time. It's okay to take your time. Now, some people will work faster, and that's okay as well. All these different rules that people make up, I think you have to ignore those rules. I mean, there is such a thing as good writing, and we went to school for a reason, right? So we have to look at our grammar, we have to look at our punctuation. But the point is, all these rules that people throw out there, try to see if you can block that out of your mind, ignore that, just let the words flow, enjoy it, practice, practice, practice. That's what's going to make it better anyway. But start somewhere. Just get started and just do it, and you'll see what you build. And you'll be able to look back and say, wow, I really have a body of work here that I'm proud of. And you should be proud of that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good advice, definitely. Because the first, well, then, like I think it was a quote. Can't remember who said it. You know, once the words are on the page, you know, then it's progress.
Yes, agreed. So I'm so happy that we were able to spend a little time, and thank you so much. I was really, I felt honored. It's a privilege to be able to chat with you. Anyone who's interested in getting to know me a little bit more, I always feel like, oh wow, me, okay, and I'll answer questions.
Well, definitely.
So yeah, this was good to have this.
You've got an aura of authenticity and kindness and social rights and wrongs, and that kind of does come out. So that's why I connect, because I tend to speak to other people.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And we did connect. I said you're now going to be an adoptive little sister to me. So, and you seemed to feel comfortable with it because you were teasing me, and I said, "Okay, Michelle, since you're my little sis, I'll let you get away with those jokes." Teasing me about my lack of savviness with technology, but it is true. I can't deny it. That's me. Give me paper and pen and give me journals. I'm good. I'm set.
I'll say that though. Going back to that diary thing, I definitely do that in bed. I always keep some pen and paper next to me because I wake up with all sorts of ideas, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to write that down.
Yes.
I always
Yes.
I always get like unusual ideas like at night in my dreams.
Right. Nighttime.
Yeah.
Nighttime is a special time. A lot of ideas will come up. Yes, definitely. So now the kiddos, they come in soon, and we usually have some time together. And like I said, then I start with the cooking and all that great stuff. But I enjoy that too. It's good. It's good to have that time.
I'm the complete opposite. I can't stand cooking. I just like.
Now, I didn't say that I love to cook, but I love the whole idea of us having the time with the kids. And yeah, I'm starting to get tired of it, but I want to keep doing that because I think it adds to some of the memories that they have and quality of life, because they'll leave us soon. Maybe they can think back and say, oh boy, I enjoyed mealtime and getting in the kitchen sometimes with mom or mom and dad, depending on who's cooking. So thank you so much. I enjoyed this. I'll have to join you some other time. You will discuss other subjects or something. And
Definitely, I'd like that, yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay. Thank you so much, Michelle. And I've really enjoyed watching your videos on YouTube, so I'm going to be watching more.
I'm going to be finishing the Love and Lust poems, the longing ones. I'm going to be reading through all the poetry first, but I will review it, honestly, like I always do. But at the moment, yeah, I can connect with most of them. You write very similar to how I write. Like I said, quite, depressing and like dark and
raw, very raw, isn't it? Yeah. Yes. I'll have to send you a copy of my memoir because I really would like you to have that.
Okay. I would love that. And I'll yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, some of my readers, some have sent me emails. I've received DMs from some people who have said, I had no idea. Actually, I followed you on Twitter before, because the first time I was on Twitter and had an account, and that's a long story. I had built up a decent that's for another video. I had built up a decent size following, and then I left. And when I came back, I had to start all over again. But I had people who would say, based off of some tweets, I thought, okay, she's a nice person, whatever, okay. But then when I read your books, I said, oh, this was not the writer I thought I was getting to know necessarily from tweets. I said, well, yeah, we tweets just a little glimpse of what I'm doing or who I am. So if you really get into the books, then you get to learn a lot more, because most of my poetry is confessional style. But then even the memoir, really telling more about my background and what I went through. And I think people get a chance to see, oh, I actually can relate to a lot of things that she's talking about. I can identify with her. And that's good. That makes me feel really good.
It is a good feeling, yeah. And it's Yeah, I just wish you all success in, you know, the new book
Thank you.
series that's coming, you know, the paranormal scary books.
Yes, yes, I'm enjoying that very much. It's taken me back to my younger years and a lot of the short stories I would write, and my teacher saw that the creative writing, because poetry really didn't come until my late teen years, me writing the poetry. So
Would you, s-
this is fun.
I'll say this before you go. I mean, would you say it is a bit of a horror, like scary?
It's really not. It's more uh, the paranormal fiction is going to be part of a mystery series. And you know how there are mystery series that many times they're categorized as cozy mystery
Yeah.
series. So you have the different paranormal features of it, but I won't say that, it will scare you to death while you're reading it. But there will be some things in it, in the mystery that may get you a little frightened. You have to have that.
Yes. Good.
Yeah. Okay. Can't wait to share that with you too.
It's all going to be in the links. You know, so, you know, go and follow Rachel on Twitter, on Instagram, and YouTube, hopefully soon.
Yes, very soon. You encouraged it, so I'm like, okay.
And yeah, you know, thank you for the people that will be watching this. And yeah, we'll go now, but you know, thank you again, Miss. Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who ends up seeing this. All right. Take care of yourself.
You too.
All right. All right. Bye, Michelle.
In a bit. In a bit. Oh.
Blog posts in the description, and I just hope you enjoy the discussion that I had. It was kind of funny. It took us nearly all day just to get on the platform because it kept having technical difficulties, but I'm glad that it went ahead. You know, because it was really fun, and you know, yeah. If you are an author or you know someone that writes about mental health or you know race, LGBT issues, you know social injustice, stuff like that, you know say hey, you know put in the comments, and also press that subscribe button, help a woman out. But you don't have to be an author. If you've got anything to say or add to this discussion, feel free to put that in the comments because this is a community we're building here. So yeah, without further ado, I will present to you the interview with my friend Rachel. Enjoy.